Wonderful. If I haven't gotten a chance to meet you yet, my name is Senna. I work with Health Designs, and this presentation is sponsored by Fleur de Bleu. We are going to go over healthy dining options. There will be a couple of sample menus that we look at, and some of the menu items you will recognize. We are at liberty to be able to speak verbally on the specifics, but due to copyright and trademarks, we couldn't necessarily put logos on the presentation, but we can speak freely in this room. So the reason why this particular workshop is so valuable is because in today's 21st century America, we tend to eat out a lot. Everybody knows that. Now, I don't know what it was like for you growing up, but for me growing up, I mean, eating out was just a very rare treat. It was sort of like, you know, yay, you graduated from school or you're getting married, like let's go take you out to dinner or lunch or something like that. Now, even in the last probably 5 to 10 years, our culture as a whole in terms of eating out has really changed a lot. We eat out, we grab breakfast on the go, we go out to lunch, and a lot of times that's for business too, or just getting together with folks. It's easier sometimes, a lot of times, most of the time, than hosting people at your home, you know, time-wise and expense and cleaning, and then we go out for dinner. Sometimes, depending on your schedule or depending where you live, people may eat out breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you know, pretty much on the regular, and depending on your home life and how many people you have residing with you. For some, it may be not only more convenient to eat out, but it may seem more cost effective or just plain easier to eat out. So there's no denying that overall we eat out a lot more than we used to. It is more convenient. Sometimes, again, depending on your household, it could be even more cost effective for you. But the real truth is, where there's a little caveat with that, is while it's more convenient, it's not always the healthiest thing. So today what we're going to highlight are, you know, there are healthy options out there, and more there's restaurants like today was catered by Clean Eats. But even when you go to any chain restaurant or a local restaurant, they're getting more and more considerate of people wanting to have healthier options or just more options in general. So we do have more flexibility nowadays. It's just a matter of finding them. Okay, so when you look at, let's see, this is an example. This is a sample. This is just a portion of the menu, but this is a sample McDonald's menu. These are some of their top sellers. We'll actually go back to this slide towards the end, because if you take a look at it, there's some things that probably jump out to you right up front that you think, oh, those are probably the more healthier items. There's some things that jump out at you maybe that you go, that's definitely, I know that's not one of the healthy items. But as we'll see in the slide towards the end, some of the items actually, when you stack them up, are a little healthier than others for some surprising reasons. A lot of times it goes back to portion. But when you see a sample menu like this, there are those gems in the menu that are more healthier than others. The trick is we have to be the ones to decide. So restaurants are becoming more considerate about offering the options, but they're not necessarily taking that extra step of putting them front and center and helping you decide on those options. They may offer it, but they're not going to say, oh, you're wanting to eat healthy, let me steer you necessarily towards this. That's our responsibility. We have to be more intentional about that. And that's because it really, at the bottom line, any restaurant, no matter what options they offer, healthy or not, large or small, the whole point of their business, their bottom line, is their profit. That's just the end of the story. They're not necessarily going at it of, we're wanting to nourish you. Their business is for you to enjoy yourselves, have a great experience, and come back because you had such a great experience. We think about this even with grocery stores. That's why Publix's motto is not Publix, where shopping is where you can get everything you need to be in your best health. Their slogan is what? Where shopping is a pleasure. Every business, their goal is for you to have the most pleasurable experience. Why? So you'll come back. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, now, when we look at a couple of things here, this is, anybody recognize this?
Outback.
Outback. A favorite. You see, I'm sorry, I'm standing right in front of it. A favorite in my household for occasions and treats. Now, the Bloomin' Onion, I know this may be a surprise. Well, I only have 5 people in my family, so I did kind of laugh when I read the stats on this. The Bloomin' Onion is meant to be split 6 ways. It is, in total, even though nowadays it's not looking like it. I remember when you got a Bloomin' Onion, it used to be like this, and now you get a Bloomin' Onion, it's like this, you know? But it is about 1,900 calories, the bloomin' onion, and 155 grams of fat, and nearly 4,000 milligrams of sodium. The coconut shrimp, which has never been a large appetizer, it's always been kind of small, it is still, 636 calories, 34 grams of fat, and still over 1,200 milligrams of sodium. Okay? And then their natural cut bone-in ribeye, anybody want to guess? Almost 1,200 calories, 91 grams of fat, and, but hey, a plus, only 218 milligrams of sodium. Hey, the ribs, and this is just when you go to Outback and you order the ribs, it comes with like 2 or 3 sides, right? And you also get a salad, and you get bread. And this is not including the beverage, but just the rib meat itself is almost 900 calories and nearly 60 grams of fat and almost 1,000 milligrams of sodium. That's no sides, no bread, no beverage other than water, and no salad included. Okay, so I would not necessarily say these are the healthiest options, but they are the most popular items that people get. So before you go out, think about, because I'm not bashing eating out. It's great to eat out on occasion. Everyone in here, and I'm going to make a statement that sounds kind of funny, everyone in here can eat whatever they want occasionally. You know, you meet those people, you go, oh, you can eat whatever you want, I can never eat whatever I want. Yes, you can. You can eat whatever you want on occasion. And that's the whole point, is occasionally comes from occasion. If it's a special occasion, of course. Life's too short to never get a chance to enjoy a celebration. Mother's Day happens. Birthdays happen. Tuesdays happen. Celebrate. You know, it's okay to do that. But what I'm saying is that when you do eat out, kind of think about, am I just eating out because it's easier? Am I just getting this item because it's what I usually get? Or am I trying to be, I'm eating out because I didn't have time to make something, but I still want to eat something good. I do want it to taste good, but I want it to be as healthy as possible. I don't want to deal with the consequences of it later, okay? So think about why it is that you're eating out. Is it a celebration? If it's a celebration, enjoy it. Enjoy it. Okay? If it's a cheat day, enjoy it. I really don't like, by the way, the term cheat day. I prefer treat day, you know, because cheating sounds like you're being unfaithful to something. When really it's just, if you're having a lifestyle and you're eating healthy most of the time, you can have those moments where you celebrate. Yourself. Treat yourself. That's right. It's a great slogan. Great. Okay, now let's get to the points of choosing your restaurant. Nowadays, fortunately, even though our 21st century is overscheduled, super busy, we're going from one place to the other, we do have some things in technology on our side, and some of them would be like apps, online resources. It's easier than ever if you're following either a specific diet plan or a specific lifestyle plan, or you have a goal in mind. It's getting easier and easier to track that. With any restaurant, most restaurants nowadays, everything from Chipotle to Outback to wherever, they have apps. And the apps aren't just for making call-ahead orders or reservations. They're great. You could just pull up the menu right away. You can pull up the nutrition table right away. It's easier for you to stay informed. Whereas before, if you wanted to find out the information about something, you almost had to find a manager who had a book in the back that could bring it out to you at your table. But now everybody can find out what the nutrition content is in something, virtually at your fingertips. Okay? So here are 2 apps that I really like. The first one, and I'm sorry, did I have your phone? Oh, perfect.
You want me to do it, or you want to do it?
I have it right here too. If you have your phone right now and you would like, if you have service in here, you can look it up. You don't have to download it, but both of these apps are free, and I really, really like them. The first app, I'm going to scanners, right? All you have to do is scan it, and it will pull up a grade, almost like a school grade. It will tell you whether, if that item is A, it'll tell you, and it'll actually tell you why. You scan it, it'll pull that item right up, it'll give you the grade, and then right underneath that grade, it'll tell you exactly why it gave you that grade. Yeah, why it graded. Foodjucate. F-O-O, yeah, this one right here.
Educate, but with food?
Oh, Foodjucate. And both of these apps are free. Those are 2 of several. These are the ones that I have found to be the fastest, most convenient, and user-friendly. For free, too. Okay? And just keeping in mind, this menu here, the Clean Eats, they have all of the calories listed for their items, which is really, really handy. Some restaurants still, because it's not required anymore, there was an initiative, it was recommended, but it's really not required by law for all places yet to include their calories, and there will be certain restaurants that will hold out on that as long as possible, probably because you would be shocked. They know this, they know. No matter how delicious the food is, sometimes the shock value of the caloric content is just so great that it's a deterrent for customers, and restaurants do know that. Have you ever, now if you haven't, that's okay, but has anyone here ever liked something, and then once you found out what was in it, it was like no matter how much you liked it, you just can't do it anymore. You're like, I don't know if I could do it. I'll give one example. One time I was at Panera, and I saw the cinnamon rolls. This is before they were putting up the calories. The cinnamon rolls at Panera, almost 700 calories, which I wouldn't mind something being almost 700 calories if it was like 10 cinnamon rolls all together and I felt like I was getting bang for my buck. But one, now it is pretty large, one cinnamon roll, almost 700 calories. And to this day, it's like once I realized how much just that one was, I was like, even though it sounds the same, it's such a difference. Now this, when you go to Maggiano's, a lot of times they do the family style, right? So this caloric content is not from that family style platter of lasagna that you get when you're in a group setting. This is actually the individual portion. If you were to order the lasagna entree just off of the menu as an individual, this is the amount of calories just in that. Again, no salad, no sides, no beverages. Just the pasta, beef, and sauce and cheese all together. So a couple of tips on decoding, the menu. These are good to choose more often. Restaurants, not to make them like they're villains, they're just brilliant marketing folks. They will list many different ways of saying something, and it all usually will sound just, one, delicious, but also not so bad. So for example, fried. Everybody knows, and restaurants know that everybody knows that fried is a signal for not as healthy as something else, right? So now restaurants will put crispy. So it'll be crispy chicken. And even though logically we know, well, if it's crispy, it must be fried. But without saying fried, or even pan fried, they'll say, oh, pan fried. Well, pan fried, then that's not nearly as bad as deep fried. It maybe not as bad, like to the tune of 2,000 calories in a bloomin' onion that is deep fried. But if you were to go, and if anyone here has ever worked in a restaurant before, if you go into the kitchen and see how much grease they're putting in the pan that they're frying that item in, it might as well be deep fried. It's basically oil based. It's halfway submerged in the item. Now, these other things, lightly sauced, unsauced, in its own juice, blackened, grilled, boiled, steamed, even marinated is not that. Saute is still pan fried, but typically saute is with less oil. And then this is one of the biggest surprises, typically to people. Glazed items. Like you go to Outback and they have the Asian glazed salmon. You think, it's no big deal. It's just the salmon, and it's just got a little glaze over it. Glaze, you might as well say sugar-coated, because a glaze, what they do is they take syrup, they reduce it down, and then they just cover and roll the item in that. That glazed salmon is very, very high in sugar. Okay? So that's just usually something that surprises people, because they are thinking, well, I'll get the glazed salmon instead of that T-bone steak because it'll be healthier. Now, it will be healthier than the large T-bone steak, but it may be not the healthiest option, as healthy as we think it is. Okay? Many of these sauces are not a surprise. People know that cream sauces and mayonnaise are pretty heavy in calories. They know butter is heavy in calories. And then some of the better choices. Mustard has no calories. It has sodium, but it has no calories in it. Vinegars, no calories whatsoever. Sodium, but no calories. Salsa, a lot of times very low in calories. Can be pretty high in sodium, but oftentimes very low in calories. Guacamole, while it is higher in fat, typically not as high in sodium, but it is guacamole. Remember, avocados are healthy polyunsaturated fat. A little goes a long way, though. Right now, with this avocado craze, people feel like, oh, I'll eat the whole thing of guacamole. You really don't. Really, about half an avocado is plenty. The average avocado is almost 30 grams of fat, depending on the size, so it's quite a bit of fat. And then low-fat sauces, yes, I say this kind of with a caution. Low-fat sauces do tend to be, if they're low-fat, but they can, they make up for the flavor in other ways, either with the sugar or the sodium. So just keeping a heads up. And then really, the portions. If you get a salad, a serving size, typically, if you look at the bottle of salad, the serving size is either 1 or 2 tablespoons. They are putting way more than 1 or 2 tablespoons of salad dressing on that salad. And I guarantee you, no one is back there with a tablespoon measuring spoon, calculating how much they're putting on your salad. Okay, they're just putting it right on there. So asking for these sauces on the side, you may make an awesome choice. You pick a great sandwich, or you pick an awesome entree. You pick the best protein, the best side, and then it sort of undoes it if it comes just doused in these sauces or these condiments. They add up fast, especially mayo and especially butter. Okay, here are just a couple of tips on substituting the sides. Swap grilled chicken for the hamburger. We'll see on one of the last slides that just depends on the portion, though. Spoiler alert: the hamburger at McDonald's is less calories than the grilled chicken sandwich is, and that comes down to portion size. Many of the options, like I know Olive Garden, for example, has a whole wheat pasta option. Does it taste differently? Yes. I will just be upfront. It does taste a little different. I'm not going to lie to you here. It does taste different. but they have that option. The Alfredo sauce tastes the same. Okay, now, we can make the right choices, but also we want to be mindful of the portions, because it's sort of like you're halfway there. You want to eat out, you've got a busy schedule, you want to enjoy an occasion, or you just, that's the most convenient thing for you to grab lunch or dinner. You want to make the right choice, so you've honed in on what the best options are, you've got your apps in order and everything. And then the other half of that, to keep yourself towards your health goals, would be how much you eat of it. So these are just a couple of tips on portion control. 1, if it's an occasion, if you want to do this, if you're going out for a party or going out for a celebration, you want to save your appetite, that's fine. You make that decision ahead of time. But if you feel like you need to save your appetite, sometimes when people are going out, they go, well, I'm going to go buy this food, I'm spending my money, I better just save my appetite, because I'm going out anyway. If you are trying to watch your portion, actually you should do the opposite. Just eat your normal healthy diet, and actually it's really, really great for you to eat before going out. So I was like, how would I eat before going out? I'm basically then I'm not going to be very hungry when I go out. Exactly. And you're going to eat less, and you'll probably actually enjoy it more, because you'll eat less of it, you won't have the guilt, and you'll be able to savor it more rather than eating it so quickly. So a lot of people say, oh, I'm eating out, I'm just going to, and even they think, well, I'm going to kind of keep my calories low during the day, and that way when I eat out, it won't be as much as if I eat my normal diet. Typically, studies have shown that doesn't really work, not only metabolically, but just in general when it comes to our portions. A lot of times when people save their appetite and they don't eat much, very much, all throughout the day, and then they eat at that meal, 1, their metabolism is sort of hungry and wanting to hoard calories, especially if they go longer than 4 hours without eating. 2, we tend to overeat when we are really, really hungry, versus someone who just eats along the day normally. They tend to not overeat as much, and plus metabolically, their body is sort of ready to go ahead and start processing that food more efficiently, better than if they had quote-unquote saved their appetite. Okay? Good things to eat just a few minutes before you're about to head into that restaurant, something relatively high in protein, or something that has good fats in it. So nuts are a great option because they're a little bit of both. You want to have a handful of almonds, you want to have some yogurt, you want to have a good cheese stick. Before you go into that restaurant, you'll probably eat far less blue onion than you would have if you had saved your appetite. Okay? The next one, order from the kids menu. Some restaurants don't let you do that. Some restaurants, they don't mind. So if you can, sometimes the kids menu is great. You know? Ask for the lunch portion. Order an appetizer and a side as your meal. Split the meal with another person if you have a friend or a significant other that it happens to enjoy the same thing, and you guys can split it. That's great. This is one tip. When you go to a restaurant, a lot of times, even if you're really good and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to eat half of it, and then I'm going to take the other half of it home. A lot of times, we ask for that box a little bit too late. We will go ahead and get our food, we'll eat half of it, and then we'll ask for the box. But let's say your server gets busy, and she or he doesn't come back with that box relatively soon. A lot of times, we'll end up kind of shaving off the corners, we'll eat a little bit more, and then by that point, we're like, well, I've eaten almost all of it anyway, I might as well finish it. You know, if you are at a restaurant, your food comes, and you go ahead and tell your server, hey, can I go ahead and get a box for this? I'm not ready to get my check or anything like that. I just want to go ahead and cut the portion off that I'm going to save for later. You know, and it's not rude. You tell your table mates, hey, I'm just getting this so that I don't end up eating the whole thing. And everybody understands. That way, you're more likely to actually only eat that half. Okay? And then take small bites. This sounds kind of funny because a lot of times, especially if we've saved our appetite, especially if we're looking forward to a celebration, especially if it's something that's absolutely delicious and we just love it, we want to sink our teeth into it, right? We love that satisfaction of taking a big, delicious bite. The only thing is we're actually not getting any more intense flavor than we were if we were to take small bites. Now, texturally, it does feel different to take a large bite versus a small bite, but we have absolutely no taste buds on the inside of our cheeks or the roof of our mouth. All of our taste buds are at the top of our tongue. So if you take a small bite of that bloomin' onion, you guys notice that I really do like it because I keep using it as my example. But if you just take a small bite of that bloomin' onion and have it at the top of your tongue, you're getting just as intense flavor as if you grab a whole section of it and put it in your mouth. Okay? So take small bites. And you're more than likely then to eat less, and it'll take you a little bit longer. And it is true, that whole 20-minute rule, our body secretes a hormone called leptin. It's our feel-full hormone, and unfortunately, unlike other hormones that have, that kind of put our body in motion really fast, leptin's just one of those things. It takes 20 minutes from the time our brain senses food or beverage hitting our tongue to release into our body and start telling our body that it's getting full. So, the more you can kind of push that back and coax it out, the better. The other point would be chew completely. I know that sounds really funny, but who in here is a slow eater? Fantastic. It is all in your favor. Well, a lot of times, people who are slow eaters, we apologize for that. I'm a very slow eater. Go, I'm sorry. So you're at a table, you're with people, I'm so sorry. I'm a slow eater. I'm sorry about that. It's good. Don't apologize for it. You should be like, you know what? I'm a slow eater. Why? Because a lot of times we don't chew our food all the way, and it really doesn't digest properly. Our body will extract the calories, but whatever nutrients are in there, it's very difficult for the body to extract those nutrients. We have no teeth in our stomach or intestines. So when we don't chew our food properly, our body has to do the best it can to extract nutrients with these whole chunks of food. Whereas if you chew completely, your body will absorb the calories just as it would have before, but it'll also get as much nutrients, especially your macros, your protein and your carbohydrates and your fat, in order to help metabolize those things efficiently. Plus, again, it is delaying your appetite bigger even more. It is helping coax that. It's buying you time for that leptin to come out. So chew completely. It's better for your digestion, but better for your appetite as well, and better for your metabolism. Watch utensils. Kind of sounds like a funny thing, but in our culture, because we are such fast eaters, I'm married to a very fast eater, we don't put our utensils down in between eating. And in fact, if you start doing this when you eat out, you're going to feel funny because we're used to just holding that thing in our hand and just reloading it, almost on repeat, just reloading it, putting it in our mouth, reloading it, we just have it ready. But if you put your fork or your spoon down in between, again, buying yourself some time to watch your portions. Anybody have a parent who made them clean their plate all the time. I had that as well. That is pretty cultural. They clean your plate, and we have that ingrained in us sometimes. Clean your plate, clean your plate. Now, unless it's raw fruits and vegetables, you are free. Today, May 15th, 2018, you are free from feeling pressure of having to clean your plate. And in fact, child psychologists are actually recommending that parents do not enforce that as much, because what we're doing is we're sort of ingraining people with this idea of having to clear a full portion of the time, when a lot of times the body may be saying that it's enough. But we see the plate, the plate, even though the body's saying, oh, fine, you really can just take it at home. Okay? So, fridge or freeze leftovers. If you are following a specific plan, or just your healthy lifestyle, and you are having a treat yourself day, sometimes, especially if you go to Maggiano's and the portion is large, your entree is served literally on a platter, and you cut it in half, sometimes people may feel a little bit of anxiety because they're going, great, I just wanted one cheat day, but now I've got this leftover and I feel pressure to eat it the next day. Well, keep in mind, one, that some leftovers, especially restaurant foods, because it does have so many preservatives in it, restaurant foods tend to last quite a while in the refrigerator, closer more to even a week. So you can save it for a few more days. You don't have to feel pressure to eat it the very next day. Other thing is, depending on what it is, it may sound funny, but you can freeze that away, and it'll be great. Again, for example, pizza freezes marvelously. Trust me, I've done it. Pizza freezes great, and then you just bake it up again. You just crisp it up in the oven, and it's almost like it was when you first had it.
Actually, it's good.
Oh, there you go. There you go then. There are many items, even French fries. French fries are disgusting the next day cold, and they're not very good in the microwave. But if you freeze them and you pop them back in the oven, because they were honestly, depending on the restaurant, they were probably frozen to begin with, they're fine. So take that pressure off. Find, whatever your item is, even that Maggiano's lasagna, you can freeze it. So you could either fridge or freeze it. And then with buffets, just a couple of little tips. If you sit facing away from the buffet, far less likely to be tempted to keep going back. If you sort of set a rule, say I'm only going to put 2 or 3 items on my plate each time you go up to the buffet, then you actually are less likely to eat as much. We like to load our plate up saying, I'm not going to go back, but we always go back. So you might as well just put a few less things on your plate, and then the next time you go back. Again, buying time for the leptin to start secreting. Okay? With a party, if you go to a party, having your hands full is a pretty big deterrent for overeating. We always seem to have a phone now in one hand, so go ahead and keep that phone in your hand, and then keep your cup of water in the other hand. And then you're far less likely to keep going back for more and more and more. Okay? And then the last thing is 3-bite rule. There's no law or rule, but it's somewhat kind of like the law of diminishing return. Studies have shown that our taste buds become accustomed to a food or beverage item after 3 bites. That's why if you are wanting something and the first bite is amazing, right? Second bite, still pretty amazing. Third bite is good. Fourth bite, you like it, but it's not as amazing as that first bite. After about the 3rd bite, our taste buds are accustomed to it. So I was really pleased to see that there were these small little fudgy things for dessert, because you really only need about 3 bites. It was a smart marketing tactic when it comes to money for restaurants to offer a 2-bite dessert. But if you've ever gotten a 2-bite dessert, you sort of feel like, oh, this thing is a little small. I'm not really crazy about it. But after you've had it, you're like, oh, fine. That was pretty good. So try to follow hey, if I'm going to have a dessert, if I'm going to have a treat, 3 bites. Why? Scientifically, your taste buds are already accustomed to it after 3 bites. So again, don't feel the pressure to clean your plate. Okay? These are just some other tips. We've pretty much covered this within the content of the workshop. Water and unsweet tea, that sort of goes without saying. For restaurants, lightly sauce, broth-based soups versus the cream soups. Okay? And to wrap up, this was just the question of, when you think about that McDonald's menu, which ones jumped out at you as the ones that were the healthiest? Again, as I said, the hamburger is only 250 calories. Why do I say that? Is it inherently healthy? Not necessarily inherently healthy, but it's not really as bad as maybe some people say, you know what, I'm trying to watch my calories. So I'm not going to get the hamburger. I'm going to get the grilled chicken sandwich instead. That's fine. Health-wise, the grilled chicken sandwich is great. It's got a lot of protein in it, doesn't have a lot of fat, but keep in mind, because they're compensating for the fat content, the sodium level of that grilled chicken sandwich is very, very high. Right? And it is typically a bit larger because we Americans, we like bigger. Bigger is better for us. So if you get a tiny little chicken sandwich, you feel kind of gypped. Right? So they make that sandwich larger. But a hamburger, if you're really, really craving a hamburger, nowadays we tend to go, hey, you know what, I'm going to go to that restaurant that's got that giant hamburger because I'm craving a hamburger. You can just have a smaller, hamburger, and it's not going to punch you that quite as much as you think that it might. Because it's only, while it's a hamburger and not a salad, it is only 250 calories and 8 grams of fat. And if you're having a treat yourself day, you can have that treat without feeling much of the guilt because it was a little bit better off than you thought. Why is this hamburger less? This is actually the size that McDonald's started out with. When you look back at pictures when McDonald's first started, the hamburger, the treat at the time was that small little hamburger that comes in the kids' meal. And then, they started adding the Quarter Pounder and the Big Mac because, we are insatiable. So, and then here, when going back to Outback, these are some of the other options. These are all under 600 calories. The 6-ounce sirloin, which is a perfect portion of meat protein, is under 600 calories. Now, I am, of course, not including the sides in this. This is just the actual item. Okay? But these are all items. And that's listed. I've seen the Outback menu. It's all under there. You can find that very easily.
Would have been in Seasons 52?
Yes.
The entire menu, the further menu is 500 or 600
It
less?
started out that way. They've
Yeah.
added in items that have more calories just for variety's sake, but they do include that on there. They show everything on their menu. But initially, when they first started out, their big claim to fame was every single item on the menu was 475 calories or less. They do, because their menu varies seasonally, which is nice actually for diversity's sake in our diets. Their menu does have some items that have more than 475 calories now, but they always label it. But most of the items still hold true to less than 475 calories, and they still don't cook anything in their kitchen with butter or oils. Any questions? That is that completes this workshop. Any questions at all? Thank you so much for joining me. I do have the sign-in sheet. You could sign it.
Very nice.